Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः. So we are in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, and here in this second chapter, we are on the 12th verse, I think, and here Bhagwan is telling Arjuna, where are we? Where? 10th, 11th कहाँ गया? 11th नीचे है. So Bhagwan is, we have seen that that breakdown crisis in our life comes when we are under the influence of shoka and moha. Shoka, grief, moha, delusion. And only when we have given up, gone beyond shoka and moha, that some semblance can come about in our life. And how does this shoka moha come about in our life? We saw through first chapter and the first 10 verses of Arjuna, and in that we see the first point is that the result of shoka moha we are talking about, which brings about the crisis, the despondency, we lose the right vision, and is renunciation of one's duty. So Arjuna was on the battlefield and his duty was to fight, and he wanted to renounce the fighting. He wanted to get away. पतली गली से निकलना चाहता था. So that this is the result of shoka moha. Then second way the shoka moha results is getting lost in other people's job, and that is called as paradharma. What if we are good, they want to fight, they want to kill, they are good, we want to be good, like his elders. So getting lost in other people, what they are doing and not doing. Third, the shoka moha results in that one may give up one's own duty, but all their actions at manasa vacha kaya, all their actions are, what is in it for me? This is how it expresses. And lastly, if we can think of one more point, and that is that all this is because there is the result of shoka moha is shoka, grief, moha, delusion. The result of it is because one is in association with doership. That is, in Sanskrit terminology, kartrutva abhiman. If one has a sense of doership, then all these things, for the doer, the shoka moha come, and because of shoka moha, these are the other three expressions. So therefore, when in anyone's life, if these four results are demonstrated, then we are working under the influence of grief and delusion. So in life, then we have to check ourselves, isn't it? And whether we are under their influence, or else we will commit suicide. And that suicide, without having taken one's life, is living continuously in depression, living continuously in grief, living continuously in imagination, phobias, fears, etc., etc. So, and so when we are moving in life, we must check that are we under their influence, or are we not under those four influence of those four results. And therefore, you must, this is our, what you call, the check that we have to have, that whenever we begin a job, are we beginning it with inspiration? That is the benchmark. The word is benchmark. That are we inspired, in an inspired mood, where we are having an inspired disposition when we begin a job? That is very important. Anything you begin. And that begins with waking up in the morning and getting out of the bed. Oh, I want to lie down more for 2 more minutes. Gone. Whole day is lazy after that. And second point is that before we get into any activity, before we get into any job, do we have proper understanding of that job? That is also very important. And when we are doing the job, are we expressing perfection and joy every moment of our existence? These are the benchmarks, go-to benchmarks when we are moving in our life. And if these three are not expressing, we are under the influence of kartrutva abhiman, we are into judgment, we are under the influence of the 4 points that we told you before. And therefore, when a person does not give up functioning under the influence of grief and delusion, shok and moha, then his whole life, this you will observe it in your life, such a person's whole life is about dharma, adharma, good versus bad, right versus wrong, cause versus effect. And when you put all these opposites together, good, bad, right, wrong, etc., etc., this is called as sansar. This is called the world. This is that sansar, where so the whole, where in this world, when we are moving around, we are continuously thinking that, am I doing the right thing? I'm doing the wrong thing. I want to do what is right. This is the call of the ego. Then what you should be doing, right or wrong? You should do it with joy. Do it as a surrender to the Lord. You will not get any wrong thoughts in your mind then. One thing at one moment is right, at another moment the same right thing is wrong. Examples will come in the coming verses. So, so in this, we get caught up in right and wrong. Another word for right and wrong is papa and punya. And a person who is living at the level of papa and punya, shoka moha, then such a person, such a jiva, he can never come to be realized. Such a person can never come to be at peace with himself, because he is always looking over his shoulders. I have to do something in this world to gain merit. Such people can only go to heavens or hell, but never become immortal. And this delusion and grief, these are not for the spirit. This is not for the Atma. This is for the conditioned Atma, which we call as Jivatma. Another word for that in your English language parlance is soul, S-O-U-L. Not the S-O-L-E, जूते के नीचे जो होता है वो वाला, not that one. So, but it is like that only. घिसता रहता है. So, and till for this person, the Shoka Moha, this whole Bhagavad Gita is about going beyond the Shoka Moha. And for whom are the Shoka Moha? For the Jiva, the conditioned entity, the conditioned spirit. And then what is the way out? Until and unless this person, this Jiva, while performing in his life, does not come to understand the relationship between Jeev, Jagat and Ishwar. Till then, or till when this understanding about Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar is pending, till then he cannot be happy and come to know the reality that he essentially is. Under the tensions of Papa Punya, under the tension of good bad, under the tension of right and wrong, under the tension of joys and sorrows, under the tension of likes and dislikes, one cannot enjoy life. This is your experience, this is our experience, and now Bhagwan, that's why Bhagwan spoke the words that he is going to speak. And so two things have to be discarded here. One is the Kartrutva Abhiman, the doership, and second is the Karma Phala. As long as Kartrutva Abhiman, the doership, when do you give up the Kartrutva Abhiman? When do you give up the doership? I'm asking you guys. Let me check who all are there. When do you give up the doership? I'm asking.
All the time, Swami.
How can it be all the time? In the dream you cannot give up doership. In the sleep you cannot give up doership. So when do you give up doership? You give up the doership before any action begins. Understand? That is the only place that you can give up the doership before the action begins. Then how do you perform the action? Joyfully. And if there is any remnant of doership there by mistake, then give up the association with the karma phala. And when is the karma association with the karma phala given up? After the action is over. What do? We become the doer before the action. We think about the results before the action and forget that we have to perform during the action. Does it resonate with everyone? We are all like that. Till we don't catch this. And this is and until unless this does not, this is not done, there is no possibility of Atma Gyan, there is no possibility of self-discovery or self-knowledge. Then what, again the people say, but what I have to do now that you have told? Nothing, you have to just remember it all the time. That's all you have to do. Keep this in your mind and and don't get into little bit study here and a little bit study there and one paragraph there and another YouTube lecture there, and immediately we want to spread that knowledge to the whole society, we want to spread that knowledge to the whole world. You will get lost. It will lead you to grief and shoka and moha. So, and remember one more thing that is going to be talked here in chapter 2 from 11th verse onwards, and that is that karma is done only for purification, and Sankhya Yoga that is going to be talked about, that is Sankhya Yoga is understanding, and understanding brings about abidance, the Atma Gyan. Can we do karma and understanding, karma yoga and buddhi yoga or Sankhya yoga together? No, you cannot. Karma is being done by a doer, and in that the limbs are involved, the activity is involved, actions are involved, project is involved. And Sankhya Yoga, what is happening? Your mind's attention is shifting towards the essential nature, which is Atma. And in that shift of attention, everything is over. What did you do? Only listen to the satsang, only listen to the meditation, only listen to Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna did the same. He didn't do anything. He was sitting there listening attentively to the teacher. We also listened attentively to our teacher. You also listen attentively to the teacher without any bias, without any judgment, without any comparison with what you have read. No, become empty and be available. And in this way, so those who practice yoga is only at the instrumental level, and that only brings about purification. And what we are talking about, the in which the karma yoga, yagya, havan, puja, etc., all that japa, all that only brings about purification. Then what is required? Then if you want to gain liberation from what? Liberation from initially shoka moha. You want liberation from the shoka moha. Then when there is no shoka moha, then there is no sukha dukkha. Where there is no sukha dukkha, you are established. See, yoga, when you practice yoga or yoga, whatever, when we do puja, archa, havan, japa, ashtanga yoga, kundalini yoga, kriya yoga, etc., it can only bring you to a balanced mind. That is equanimity. Samatvam yoga uchyate. It can bring you to that point. Beyond that, understanding is required. No amount of activity, no amount of thinking, no amount of doing anything. Lom, anulom, pranayam, kapal, bhasrika, focusing your mind, concentrating your mind, making your mind single pointed, japa. All this doesn't work when it comes to realizing. Because all these practices are objective in nature. Moksha is only possible when we are subjective in our approach. And this will be told in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Slowly, it will be it will be made clear. If we have if we have yoga nishtha, if we have firm belief and abidance and faith in the yoga, nishtha means faith, it can, as I said, it can lead only to purification. And if we have Sankhya nishtha, because this chapter is about Sankhya Yoga, Sankhya nishtha, only then we will be able to talk, abide, realize the oneness that we are. Otherwise, in Yoga Nishtha, what happens? I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. I have to do this asanas, I have to do this pranayam, I have to do this japa, I have to do so many japa, I have to do the samadhi abhyas, I have to do blah, 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 blah. It goes, I have to do. What is happening? Doer is being born. And in Sankhya Yoga, what are you doing right now? Nothing. Sitting in your chair. You are not doing anything. Ears are open. The words are coming to you. And someone else is thinking for you. You be empty. That's all. Be available. And transformation will happen. So these two, yoga and Sankhya, they cannot be practiced simultaneously by one person. And therefore, just like, when we go to a doctor, the doctor tells you a medicine, that you go and tell him that you are suffering. And for example, you are suffering from acidity. And he says, okay, take some sweet and cold or something and soda water and it will help. And then you don't ask which soda, which company soda. You just accept what he has said and amal karte ho, matlab you follow it. Take the prescription and take the medicine. That's it. Without any argument, without any logic, without any interference of what you think. Just as he has told, you take that. And we see that same way Arjuna is asking the question, कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभाव पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेताः यत् श्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम. He is asking the question, please tell me what I should practice, what is the highest good for me. And in this way, the Bhagavad Gita, if we see, starting with the being under the control of shoka moha, grief and delusion, the Bhagavad Gita eventually concludes by recognizing one's our own identity, and thus one is liberated from the bondage, and that liberation from bondage does not come by way of yoga, that comes by way of Sankhya, by way of understanding, not by way of doing. Because Arjuna clearly, Krishna asked Arjuna, we saw it in a few months ago when we are doing the 18th chapter, he says, Arjuna, I had told everything that I had to tell. Have your doubts been cleared? He says, yes, I have no doubts left. Then what are you going to do? I'll do whatever you dictate. See, your word is the final command. This is the clarity. When we are under the influence of doership, when we are under the influence of duality, right and wrong, dharma, adharma, there can never be any clarity. Clarity can only come through, like Arjuna's clarity. He is well educated. He has studied all the scriptures, he has studied the Vedas, yet he lost the plot. How come? See? And that is why Bhagwan is making Arjuna an example to part this knowledge to us so that we become clear in our life. And that knowledge is possible only when we are open to a teacher. That teacher can be within, that teacher can be without. And when our attention is on that Sadguru within, when our attention is on that Dnyaneshwari Maharaj, when our attention is on that on any great master who has realized what Bhagavad Gita is talking about, and we listen to their words, we listen to their commentary like Adi Shankaracharya's commentary, or here in this case Dnyaneshwar Maharaj's commentary, we cannot but be clear if we listen to it without any ideas of our own. And for giving this knowledge to us, Bhagwan has taken the avatar of Krishna, and through Arjuna, who is deluded and in grief, he is giving us the supreme knowledge. And therefore, Bhagwan, we see Bhagwan, Lord Krishna here, we see he is absolutely clear as to what his purpose is. Arjuna is not clear what his purpose is. What is the purpose of Krishna here is, at this moment when he is talking about Sankhya Yoga, he is talking to Arjuna who is sitting collapsed on the chariot. What is his role? You will say he is the charioteer. No. He is his cousin. No. What is his role? I am asking. What is the role of Krishna standing in front of Arjuna?
To establish the righteousness.
No.
Role
See,
of
this is
Bhagwan as a teacher?
good. That is the only role. Because Arjuna has said, Shishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. If you forget the last class I told you, are we the doer? Are we the individual? Are we the consciousness expressing through this body? Or are we the witnessing consciousness? Or are we the Ishvara? Or are we the Paramatma? These are the various positions that you can take within yourself. Yes, no doubt Krishna is the charioteer of Arjuna. That is how the first chapter showed us. But at this moment, what is his position? You and me may be confused, but Krishna is not confused. He knows, yes, I am. He is never confused because he knows his essential nature. And knowing his essential nature, he is taking now, when he opens up his mouth, he will take the position as a teacher. And teacher has only one. Teacher cannot be a teacher without a student. Remember that. Even if they are virtual. So the teacher has only one purpose. And what is that? That whatever he is going to speak to, if the student is asking a question and he has to speak that in such a manner, in such a creative manner, that all the confusions of the student are wiped away. And that is only possible when he looks at the whole life wholesomely, completely. And therefore, we use Bhagavanu Vacha. Because Bhagwan is the Ishvara, he's got the total vision. He His mind is at the totality level, but he's at the body level, he's functioning at the individual level. That is how we see it. But who can tell you? I'm talking to you, I see you, but your mind might be in your grandchildren, in your children, in what you are going to do tomorrow. See? It could happen to me also. I'm speaking all wise words, but my mind is lost something else, somewhere else. Then how am I speaking? Out of practice. See, it can happen. So here we see Lord knows the purpose and has clarity for why he has come. And why he has come on this earth? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And he has come and he is not distracted by anything. He is absolutely clear as to his purpose of incarnating as Krishna, Shri Krishna. And therefore, he does not get lost in relations, possessions. Arjuna's problem was the downfall in his thinking, in his inspiration, in his creativity, in his clarity was brought about because he gave relations and possessions more important than what is his position at that time where life has placed him. See? So our position should be where, our purpose should be where life has placed us. And therefore, sometimes student is confused, he is fog-headed, and therefore student must have the clarity as to what to receive and from life. If he is looking at the teacher, our teacher used to say that when we are talking, your attention may be on our body, your attention may be on our dadi, mustache, receding hairline, color of cloth, etc., etc. Your attention should be only on the words that are coming to you. Follow the words, don't follow the actions of a teacher. And when we are clear as to, this is the clarity, we are clear as to what we want to receive from the teacher. What do we want to receive from the teacher? The knowledge. What do we want to receive from the teacher? Even more clarity. Then there is transfer of knowledge possible from the teacher to the student. But if teacher is speaking, Krishna is speaking, and Arjuna is thinking, yeah, if I should also wear yellow dhoti, maybe I should, he has got a kaustub money, maybe one day he can borrow it to me, And what is Bhagavan talking? Sankhya Yoga. So one must be very, very, very clear as a student. Shri, again we are just recapping the 11th verse. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Again, who is speaking? Bhagavan. Who is Bhagavan? Lord. These are Lord's words. These are not the words of a human being. And because they are Lord's words, they are not limited. They are not conditioned. By what? They are not conditioned or limited by Desha Kala Vastu. Desha, space. Kala, time. Vastu, object. Space, time and objectivity do not limit, influence, direct the words of the Lord. Individuals' words may be affected by Desh Kala Vastu because we are always talking about only past and future. But Bhagwan, he is talking what is required to be spoken at that very moment. And what did we see? Ashocyananvashocastvam prajnavadanscha bhashase gatasuna gatasunscha nanushocanti panditaha. And here we saw that, oh Arjuna, you are talking like a wise man, but your behavior is so funny. It is as if, like a mad person, you are showing the emotions simultaneously, and so meaning your words are wise and your actions are that of a fool. So there is a mismatch, and such a person in English language is called as hysterical, and therefore here one must, when such a thing is there, one must, that time understanding will not take place. You must practice yoga, because yoga will lead you to equanimity. And gatasuncha, asun means pranas, and gatasuna means from whom the pranas are gone. So you are talking like a wise man, and a wise man does not cry for both those who are living and those who are dead. Or I should say, those who are dead and those who are not dead. That means in the one there in whom there is pranas and in whom there are no pranas. The wise man does not cry for both. Only those people who cry for others, those who are objective in their orientation. And who are these people who are objective in their orientation? Those who are not contemplating about their Atma. Those people whose attention is not on the conscious principle or the God principle. Such people automatically get pulled by the various Vishayas. Vishayas means the various names, forms, colors. And in this way, it leads to the destruction of the self, meaning the self comes under the influence of shoka and moha. So, those people whose attention is on the self, they will never grieve. And in this way, signs of a fool, if we can say, are that firstly, there is unparalleled foolishness in such a person. These are the signs of a fool. And he is grieving for something that there is nothing to grieve for. Because grief is a sign of ignorance. And in life, we grieve only because of our ignorance, and only foolish are ignorant, or ignorant are foolish, whichever way you put it. And therefore, those who justify and are proud and they justify their foolishness, and we see, if you look around, what do we see? That majority of the people, they have a great stamina to justify their foolishness, to justify their rights and wrongs. Their rights as wrongs, or rights as rights, and wrongs as right, whichever way you put. And these are the signs. So Bhagwan says that which is not worthy to be grieved for, you are grieving because they are eternal. And how they are eternal, we see it in our next verse, 12th verse. I think this is where we have to start today. You can repeat after me. Na tvevaham jatu nasam. Na tvevaham jatu nasam. Na tvam neme jana dhipaha. Na tvam neme jana dhipaha. Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha. न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम् सर्वे वयमतः परम् टुगेदर न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्. Never was there a time when I was not, nor you, nor these kings, nor shall we ever cease to exist or cease to exist. He says, Dnyaneshwari Maharaj says, 12th, Arjuna sangena aika etha amhi tumi dekha ani he bhupati ashekha आदि करुणी नित्यता ऐसेची असोनी नातरी निश्चित क्षया जाऊनी हे भ्रांती वेगळी करुनी दोन्ही नाही हे उपजे आणि नाशे ते माया वशे दिसे एरवी तत्वता वस्तु जे असे ते अविनाशची जैसे पवने तोय हालविले आणि तरंगाकार जाहले तरी कवणके जन्मले म्हणो येतेथ तेची वायूचे स्फुरण ठेले आणि उदकम सहज सपाट जाहले तरी आता काय निमाले विचारी पा. He says, now listen, as regards ourselves and all these kings and others who have gathered here, it is not true to say that they will live long or meet with sure death. If you get rid of your delusion, you will realize that it is not so. What we see as birth and death are due to illusion. Maya, otherwise, the entity which really exists, is indestructible. Look, if the wind produces ripples on the water, can we say that something is really produced? And when the wind ceases and the water becomes flat, what is it that has ceased? Think over it. Dekho. So Bhagavan says here that never was a time that I was not. I always was. Earlier, so many bodies were born and died, but I survived. Therefore, I am eternal. And so is true with regards to you, O Arjun. So it is true. Na tvam neme janadipaha. So is true with all the kings. Adhipa is the king. So is true with the kings and the people, Jana. And there was, and he's asking, was there any time when we were absent? Do you have an experience in your daily life from birth till now, today, this moment, that you have found that you are absent? Nobody can have an experience of their own absence. So also there will be no time when I will not be, even in the future. Therefore, even after this time, we will continue to be. But how? That is the question. Here it is told, we'll continue to be as the self, as the consciousness, as the spirit. The spirit continues, the consciousness continues. It is unborn, undying, continuous principle. Then what is that which comes and goes or changes, manifests or unmanifests? That is the body, the form. So as the self, we can never experience our experience in past. As the self, we can never experience our past, present and future. Only as an individual. So what does the individual have to do? Recognize that he is the self. He will be free of past, present, future. Past, present, future is only for the individual. So dissolve your individuality. That is spirituality. First lesson. So now don't misunderstand that all the kings, all the people, because they are all the beings, they are plural. Is Atma plural? Is the consciousness plural? If we say there is wave number 1, wave number 2, wave number 3, wave number 4, wave number n. So is every wave having one Atma called water? Or is water one without a second, the general principle, the substratum, the foundation of all the waves? When every wave dissolves, the form dissolves, what remains? Only the water. Exactly the same way. When every body form of all individuals unmanifests, foolish people call it death, but it is unmanifestation of the form. Where did the form come from? From nowhere, from Maya. See? Just like Dnyaneshwari Maharaj says, or just because the breeze came, the waves were formed. Out of what? Water. When the breeze stopped, where did the waves go? Back to water. They were always water. So nothing is created, nothing is lost. And what is created and what is lost? Name and form. And an ignorant person, why does he get grief and delusion? Why is under the influence of grief and delusion? Because he gets identified and starts creating relationship with name and form. First is his own, and then with this, accepting this name and form to be I, he starts creating relationship with every other form. I like this form, I don't like this form. And then creates a hellhole for himself, searching for a way to be free. But understand, Atma is one. Atma is not one per person. Water is not one per wave. Water is all that there is. So, when our attention is on the name and form, then our attention is on the plurality. When our attention is on the conscious principle, the Atma, then we come to the one and we recognize that one alone is expressing through all the names and forms. How is this Atma Nitya? How is this Atma eternal? Is now told in our 13th verse. Repeat after me. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tatha dehantara praptihi. Tatha dehantara praptihi. Dhirastatra na muhyati. Dhirastatra na muhyati. Together. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tatha dehantara praptihi. Dhirastatra na muhyati. Dnyaneshwari Maharaj says, even as the self has in this body childhood, youth and old age, so he passes on into another body. A wise man is not bewildered thereby, meaning he is not affected by the change of the body because he understands the body will come, body will go. How? Just as In the childhood, we had a body, it changed, we became a teenage body, then it changed, then we became a youthful body, then it changed, now it is middle age and old age body, again it will change. So, what is happening to the childhood body? It unmanifested and the teenage body manifested. So, has the child body died? You can speak that way, but understanding has to be there, correct. So in the 13th verse, Dnyaneshwari Maharaj says, Aike sharir tari ek pari vayasa bhed anek he pratyaksha chidekha pramanatu eth kaumaratva dise magatarunyai te bhrangshe parideha chihana nashe ekaikasave तैसी चैतन्याच्या ठाई ये शरीरांतरे होती जाती पाही ऐसे जाणे तया नाही व्यामोह दुःख. He says, then we'll look at the meaning. Consider this, although the body is the same, it becomes different with age. Perception itself is the source of knowledge for this. We see, I am so many years old. Now my body is becoming weak. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was solid. First we see childhood, which changes to youth. But the body does not perish with childhood. In the same way, the conscious self assumes many bodies. Whoever knows this does not suffer from sorrow or delusion. This is the lesson given here. See, in Sanskrit language, this body is called as Deha. The first word in the 13th verse is Dehi nosmin yatha dehe. So Deha means body and Dehi means the embodied. Who is embodied? The one who considers himself to be the body is called embodied. And it is this embodied who experiences the body as a child, as a youth, as old age, as young, as old. Jara means old, worn out. That is all our situation. Maybe 1 or 2 exceptions. But what is the worn out age? Of the body, not of the spirit, not of the consciousness. Therefore, Dehi, the embodied spirit, is the same, but he experiences the various avasthas, states, and these avasthas are completely different from the Dehi. See? The embodied is other than the body. This is the conclusion here. And therefore, what are these 3 avasthas? Or 3, you can say waking, dream and deep sleep, but other avasthas, childhood, teen, youth, old age, and when as you move from childhood to youth and youth to old age, the Dehi is not dying. Dehi is not dying. He is continuing as a continuous principle. Do you feel that you became the child, the you became absent and someone new was born in the youth? Or then the youth died, you died and the elderly person came about? No, you experience yourself as a continuous principle. And your perception is the body has changed from childhood till today. And therefore, this Dehi is neither born and nor dies. Therefore, this Dehi, that is the Atma, who does not undergo any modification. So this is your observation, this is your experience, that you have been continuous, the body has been changing. Therefore, we can come to a logical conclusion that we are that who is not affected, influenced by the modification of the body, because that is your direct experience. And therefore, conclusion is, I do not belong to the body, but I am the Atma. This jiva, this embodied, can make that logical conclusion, because based on the facts, and the facts are, body has changed, I have remained the same, I have remained continuous. If I am continuous, there is only one continuous, that is Atma. So I cannot be the body. Story over. This can be meditation. Just take this thought and sit with it. Again and again, keep contemplating on it. Yeah, man, my body is changing. I am not changing. Then who am I? I am of the nature of Atma. I am the continuous one. I am the unborn. I am the undying. I am the unchanging. If I think of the body, I become finite. If I am not thinking of the body, then who am I? Infinite consciousness. Right now, here, you are that. There has never been a time that you are not that. So again and again, let our attention come to the common denominator, that I am. And so again, another way of looking at it, before this body we existed as something, and that is pure existence, and therefore we see that the modifications are superimpositions, are limited. Body is limited and is only a superimposition on the substratum, just like the form, the shape of the wave is only a superimposition on the substratum or the foundation or the common denominator called the water. Water is continuous, water is unbroken, water is infinite. And where does the form of the wave exist? In its own absence. It appears and it disappears. It manifests and it unmanifests under right circumstances. That is, if the wind is blowing. If the wind of Maya is blowing, if identification is there, if you as the conscious principle are identified with what? With the body, with the nears and dears, with some imagination, with some phobias, with some fears, with some past, with some future, with some aspirations, with survival, then God help you. Then form will come. That is the breeze of Maya. It expresses as all these, what the list I told you. Then the form will come. And no vibration, no energy moves in a straight line. It is always up and down, up and down. That up is manifestation, down is unmanifestation. So at the worldly level, whatever has come into existence must go out of existence. Whatever has come to manifest must become unmanifest. If you call it that birth and death, that is your problem. You are calling it birth and death. And that with that which is only an appearance, you are getting attached. Call it this body, call it your wife's body, call it your children's body. We are not here to establish wife-children relations. We are here to establish we are the Atma, we are the Atmic principle. And why do we want to do that? Because we want, for once and for all, be free from all delusion and grief and misery in our life. So, the body, if at all we use it, the word body, the Deha dies, unmanifests, but the Dehi does not die. And again, when the new body manifests or is born, the Dehi continues. Therefore, there is nothing called death. Therefore, you, the Atma, remains unmodified. But what do? Oh, we open our album and check the past photographs and memories and keep getting identified with the imaginary past. It's dead and gone. But we keep, kahan gaye wo din? Dhiras tatra na muhyati. Who is a dhira? Dhira is the wise person. Who is he? Who is not under the influence of shoka and moha. He is a dhira person. Dhyarati iti dhiraha. He who lives life according to correct understanding is a dhir purush. And the correct understanding is, I am the unchanging principle and I am not under the influence of changing. So what is the essence of the 11th verse, 12th verse, 13th verse? So we see that Arjuna was talking like a wise man, but a wise man does not grieve. And nobody dies in this world. So why cry about death? And Arjuna was crying about death. That my grandfather will not be there, my teacher will not be there, my guru will not be there, my cousins will not be there. So many people will be dead, so many sons will be dead, so many fathers will be dead, so many brothers will be dead. This was his cry. So when we understand what we have explained in 11th, 12th and 13th verse, it leads to fearlessness. This fearlessness is the basis of our life. Is the expression. It will lead to liberation. If one iota of fear is there, forget about liberation, forget about moksha. And therefore, Bhagwan in the first 3 verses itself has given the proper position of who you are to Arjuna and through Arjuna to us. What is your true position? Are you the body or are you the Atma? Like this, our Adi Shankaracharya was moving around on the streets, narrow streets of Varanasi. And there, one day when he was going, one Chandal, uncouth, dirty, Chandal was, uncouth person was coming with his dogs and all jata and not taken shower, stinking, and Shankaracharya has just taken bath in the Gangaji and coming down the narrow lane, and he said, Munja, Munja, saido, move aside. That Chandal looked at him, stopped in the middle of the road. Who are you telling? Move aside. To the body? then you move aside, because my body is also made up of the dirt and filth and 5 elements, and your body is also made up of the same. So you move aside. But that body, which is my body and your body, is made of the same material. So what are you trying to tell? Move aside, move aside. And if you are saying move aside to the spirit that I am, then your spirit and my spirit is the same, then spirit cannot move because it is everywhere. When that Chandal spoke like that to Adi Shankaracharya suddenly stopped, fell at the feet of that Chandal and asked him to reveal himself, and it was Lord Shiva himself to test Adi Shankaracharya. These 3 verses take us there. This Atma is Nitya. This Atma is eternal. And this eternal principle, the Atma, the conscious self, we can never experience our absence. See? Atma is also eternal, Nitya, because it is never born, therefore it can never die. Even though the bodies change, childhood to youth to old age, but the Atma continues to be the same, therefore it is Nitya. For whom is this message? This message is not to the one who is doing Karma Yoga. This message is not to the one who is ready to twist his body day in and day out, do Surya Namaskar and do Pranayam and forget it. Then for whom is this? This is for the person who has correct understanding about who he is, who is ready to understand, who is open to the teacher. Arjuna asked Lord, Yat Shreyasyat Nishchitam Bruhitan me. Tell me conclusively, correctly, what is for my highest good. This is for the highest good. That bring your attention to the, accept yourself to be the Atmic principle. That Atmic principle is neither born nor it dies. It never sleeps, dreams, or goes to sleep, dreams, or wakes up. It is eternal. It supports the change of body from childhood to teenage to youth to middle age to old age. But itself remains untouched by the changes that it is supporting. See? Just like the sun remains untouched by the changing day and night. The moon remains untouched by the changing, waxing and waning of the moon. Moon remains the same. The gold remains the same, untouched by the various forms that it supports. Water remains the same in spite of the various forms of froth, wave, tide, tsunami, whirlpool that it supports. All are forms. Similarly, I am that spirit, I am that Atma, which supports all the forms but is unaffected, uninfluenced, unidentified, separate from all the forms. Live in this knowledge. Live with this correct understanding, and slowly, when you continuously keep that as the go-to thought all the time in your mind, as everything will start dropping away, body identification will melt away. Where there is less thoughts of the body, there is inspired living. Then the divine starts functioning through you. See how beautiful. Now, these are the till verse 31, 32, or 30. Till then, all verses are like this, bringing you to the unchanging principle, the spirit that you are. As the teacher standing in front of Arjuna, the Lord is imagining that Arjuna is thinking in his mind, and this can be only known by an alert teacher. This cannot be known by a mechanical teacher, a professor, a lecturer. They can never come to know that. But if a teacher is attentive towards his students, is caring for his students, they can catch. And to an alert teacher, the doubt of the student becomes an inspiration to talk. Even if it is possible doubt, it becomes an inspiration to talk. There are many times, every year our Swamiji comes, I get the chance to be with him, talk to him, and many times we go for walks, I hardly speak. And sometimes while walking, I am thinking in my mind, some contemplation is going on, or some japa is going on. And suddenly Swamiji will start telling that which was going on in my mind. Many times it has happened. So even though the wise people know that there is no death of Atma, Atma is the continuous, this is understood. This is the doubt we are talking about. Arjuna is listening to our Krishna, to Bhagavan, and he has understood that Atma never dies, it is never born. So he is talking about Dhira Purusha. Dhira Purusha is the wise person, it is understood by the wise person, but is thinking but the wise people also feel the joys and sorrows, the heat and cold, and the hunger and thirst. All the pairs of opposites also affect the wise people. Thinking that this might be a possible doubt or question in the mind of Arjuna, and the Lord starts explaining in the 14th verse. What does he say? Matra sparshastu kaunteya, Matra sparshastu kaunteya, Shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha, Shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha, Agama pahino nityaha, Agama pahino nityaha, Tanstitikshasva bharata, Tanstitikshasva bharata. Together. Matra sparshastu kaunteya, Shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha, Agama pahino nityaha, Tanstitikshasva bharata. The verse says, as according in the English commentary in Dnyaneshwari, the sense contacts, O Arjuna, give rise to heat and cold, pleasure and pain. They come and go and do not last. Endure them, O Bharata. We look at the Dnyaneshwar Maharaj's commentary. Etha kaumaratva dise magatarunyayite bhranshe parideha chihana nashe ekaika save तैसी चैतन्याच्या ठाई ये शरीरांतरे होती जाती पाही. ऐसे जाणे तया नाही व्यामोह दुःख. एथनेणावया हेची कारण जे इंद्रिया आधीनपण तिही आकळीजे अंतःकरण म्हणून भ्रमे. इंद्रिये विषय सेविती तेत हर्ष शोक उपजती ते अंतर आप्लविती संगे येणी. जया विषयांच्या ठाई एकनिष्ठता काही नाही तेथ दुःख आणि काही सुखही दिसे. देखे शब्दाची व्याप्ती निंदा आणि स्तुती तेथ द्वेषाद्वेष उपजती श्रवणद्वारे. मृदू आणि कठीण हे स्पर्शांचे दोन्ही गुण जे वपूचे निसंगे कारण संतोष खेदा. We'll come back to the rest of it. He says, man does not know this because he is a slave to his senses. What does he not know? That he is the Atma. That is what he does not know. And what does he? Because he does not know how he is getting caught up in the name and form, how he is getting identified with the name and form, and then concluding that he is the name and form. See the foolishness? Man does not know this because he is a slave to his senses. This is the first problem. His mind is attracted by the senses and so he becomes deluded. When the senses perceive an object and experience pleasure and pain, his mind becomes attached to the sense objects. So we'll see. This is happening. You cannot do anything about it. I cannot do anything about the hunger arising in my tummy. I cannot do anything about the sleep coming and overtaking me. I cannot do anything about the heat and cold that the weather is bringing to me. I cannot. I did not create it. But the moment my senses, all the five senses, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, and the mind, when all these interact with the stimuli, automatically I like this, don't like this. This comes about. Likes and dislikes lead to joys and sorrows, sukha dukkha. If I get what I like, I am happy. If I get what I don't like, I am sad. And this is going on because of the identification. When the senses perceive an object and experience pleasure and pain, his mind becomes attached to the sense objects. The senses lack definite relationship with their objects, and so they sometimes feel pleasure, sometimes pain. Now, censure and praise belong to the sphere of the word, which, when heard, gives rise respectively to hatred and fondness, meaning likes and dislikes gives rise to love and hate or joys and sorrows. Soft and hard are the two qualities of touch, and its contact with the body produces joys and sorrows. Similarly, the Dnyaneshwari Maharaj says here in the 16th verse, भ्यासुर आणि सुरेख हे रूपांचे स्वरूप देख जे उपजवी सुख दुःख नेत्रद्वारे. सुगंधू आणि दुर्गंधू हा परिमळाचा भेदू जो घ्राण संगे विषादू तो शुदेता. तैसाची द्विविध रसू उपजवी प्रीती त्रासू म्हणूनी हा अपभ्रंशू विषय संगू. देखे इंद्रिया आधीन होईजे ते शीतोष्णांते पाविजे आणि सुख दुःखी आकळीजे आपण पे. या विषया वाचुनी काही आणिक सर्वथा रम्य नाही ऐसा स्वभावोची पाही इंद्रियांचा हे विषय तरी कैसे रोहिणीचे जळ जैसे का स्वप्नीचा आभासे भद्रजाती देखै अनित्य नित्या परी म्हणवनी तू अह्वैरी हा सर्वथा संगुण धरी धनुर्धरा. He says, so first he talked about the touch, and soft and hard are the two qualities of touch. If I some people like it soft, some people like it hard. Like similarly, ugly and beautiful are the two qualities of form which produce through sight pleasant and unpleasant sensations. So if I look at a beautiful form, beautiful architecture, beautiful statue, beautiful, beautiful rainbow, wow. And if I see ominous dark clouds and imagine in that a fearsome face looking at me, pleasant and unpleasant sensations. So also fragrance and stink are the two forms of smell. Nobody likes the stink, only fragrance is liked. And their contact with the nose gives rise to pleasure and pain. What we are showing you here is at every sense level, there is opposite being experienced, and that opposite gives you a sense of pleasure and pain, joy or sorrow. Likewise, taste is also of two kinds accordingly as it produces liking and nausea. Attachment to the sense objects corrupts a person. Then what should we do? Mouth shut, eat whatever comes in your plate. Don't complain. No, but I feel like Chinese today. I hate pizza on Tuesdays, Thursday. Today's what, Thursday. I hate cheese on Thursdays. Today is Ekadashi. I think it is Ekadashi today. I am fasting. I should not touch rice. I should not touch anna. I should not touch food. Only tomorrow I am going to eat. If I touch, I will commit papam. Who is saying? A sannyasi. Who is sannyasi? Who is beyond the body and living at sensory level. This is normal. Because this understanding is not there, so we dig a grave for ourselves. Every moment of our existence, creating memories. These opposites, when we get affected by pleasure and pain, meaning joys and sorrows, meaning sukha dukkha, we are creating a memory. That memory becomes the cause of next birth. We are not going into go into that right now. That concretizes you as an individual. So what is the first place? Recognize. These opposites at the sensory level are coming and going. Now it is today. Yesterday was 26 degrees. We had the cooler on. Cool breeze from the cooler was nice. And today outside temperature is 19 degrees. And outside 19 degrees, which is cool, I don't like cold. Yesterday you were enjoying, you were ready to pay money by putting AC on to get cool air. And within 24 hours, you are hating cool air outside when nature gives it to you. This is how the senses are. Don't get swayed by what the senses experience. The job of the senses are to experience, as we told here, the opposites. If you get identified, you will create joys and sorrows. If you don't get identified, no joys, no sorrows. Then what are you? You are staying equanimous. You are staying in the center. This will also pass away. The heat will also pass away. The cold will also pass away. The hunger will also pass away. The hardness will also pass away. The stale stench also will pass away. The good will also pass away. Means go away. Everything is continuously changing. Remain in the center. The senses delight only in the sense objects and nothing else. This is the peculiar nature of the senses. What then is the nature of the sense objects? They are like the mirage or like the elephant seen in a dream. So never become attached to them, ignore them. No, don't ignore. Here it the verse said, what did the verse say? Tans titikshasva bharata. Titiksha means endurance. We endure with complaints. Why I had to get married to this person? Why I had to get this car? Why did I have an accident? Why always I get this food only? Why do I get all the red lights every time I go? We are very creative in becoming miserable. So don't endure crying. Then how do you endure? Endure happily, joyfully. See? So, what is the rule? Senses. First is the senses, second is the sense objects, and third is their contact. So, what do they produce? The senses and the senses create sukha dukkha and sense objects. Senses and sense objects create sukha dukkha because two are required to tango, and their contact brings about or becomes the source of sukha dukkha. So take the sukha dukkha as separate from the sense objects. I hate or I dislike the cold. We have attached joys and sorrows to the cold. The cold is the sense object. You have attached. You have to take it separately. Joys and sorrows are subjective. Heat and cold are objective. Heat and cold is out there, outside, experienced by your skin. Taste is experienced by your tongue. But where is the joy and sorrow? In your mind. Separate it. Joys and sorrows are subjective experience, and all other opposites, senses and their objects, are objective experience of the senses. And therefore here it is written, Tans titikshasva bharata, rather than because they are anitya, because they are temporary, don't make them into a permanent miserable memory in your mind. And that's not the way of the Dhira Purusha. So what do Dhira Purusha do? They endure. And the pessimistic way of enduring is to that which cannot be cured must be endured is the pessimistic cry. And the spiritual cry is that which cannot be cured must be enjoyed. If you cannot do anything about the weather, enjoy it. If you cannot do anything about what food is coming in your plate, enjoy whatever is coming. Don't complain. In the same vein, whatever difficulties, challenges come, face them with inspiration and dedication. and convert them into endurance and enjoy. See? Therefore, conclusion here is that every source of misery, that every difficulty, that every challenge can be a source of inspiration for a spiritual seeker. Decide, are you a complaint box or are you outside the box? Think outside the box. Thinking outside the box, you convert everything that life throws at you into a joyful experience. Don't complain. Why me? Every problem has to come to me only. How long is Swamiji going to continue? It's already 9 o'clock. We'll continue next class. I leave you here. Matra sparshastu konteya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly, and before if someone goes away, we might have the Prashnopanishad class, which was yesterday, on Monday evening, if everything goes well. Hari Om. And also on Saturday, I got a talk followed by meditation on Mrityunjay Matra. So that is from 4:30 to 5:30. So I don't know if I'll be able to take the class at 6:30, but we might shift it to Sunday then. Okay? Because by the time I drive back to where I'm staying, it will be quite late. Is that okay? If it's not okay, who cares? I'll speak to myself. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Hari Om, Swamiji.